It's showtime, everybody. I'm Rob Wu, and this is Pancrase, Legends of Mixed Martial Arts. And joining alongside me, as always, our expert analyst, Josh, the baby-faced assassin Barnett. Though around here, you go by the baby-faced suicide.
Yeah, apparently one of the assistant directors or whatnot has quite the sense of humor, but that's okay. We can handle him.
Now we're going to see the first ever King of Pancrase tournament. Now, Josh, the fans are in for a real treat. Tell us how this tournament works.
Well, basically, they took, I believe, 8 of the top fighters within Pancrase. Actually, 16?
16
of the top fighters, and they whittle it down throughout the league over a series of events. And then what's going to happen is they will come down to 8 and then fight the remainder of those matches all in one night.
And we kick things off with Minoru Suzuki versus Matt Hume. And Matt Hume has his hands full.
He does. He is fighting one of the best fighters in Suzuki. But Hume, my former trainer and the guy that really helped develop my skill set from the age of 19 on and would help me to capture the UFC Heavyweight title. No slouch either, and really sort of coming into his own, but Suzuki having the experience advantage of being in the MMA game longer than Hume, but I think we're going to expect a good fight.
All right, it's the first fight of the tournament. Let's kick it off.
Matt Hume versus Minoru Suzuki.
As we begin the fight, Matt Hume coming in on Suzuki, throwing a right kick.
Now Hume there in the black longer shorts, whereas Suzuki in the black trunks with black hair. Matt opening up with some knees and some palm strikes. Nice inside low kick by Matt against the southpaw Suzuki. Suzuki trying to own the center of the ring there.
Matt Hume coming back, backing Suzuki off to the side of the ring.
Rapid fire shotes from Hume, looking for that high kick. Suzuki relaxed, looking for his opportunity to take this fight to the mat. Middle kick by Matt and a shote.
And Matt responds with shotes of his own.
Another low kick by Matt. Suzuki looking to land the high kick, blocked by Hume. Hume coming forward with more punches, looking a bit fatigued. Nice middle kick by Matt.
So far, Hume very impressive against Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, certainly showing that he can show his own in the ring with the best of Pancrase.
Both fighters feeling each other.
Suzuki's corner calling to land the counter off of one of Hume's kicks by landing a shote.
And now Hume back in the corner has a leg of Suzuki, possibly looking for the single leg takedown, and he does get it.
Suzuki dropping into the leg on Hume, and Hume for the heel hook. Hume inadvertently reaching for the ropes, thinking perhaps in reaction to maybe some pressure from the heel hook or just simply trying to catch his balance. Really a difficult scenario for Hume and one that could cost him in this match, as that is the only lost point to this match.
And Hume is charged with an escape on that one.
Hume knows he's got to knock Suzuki out now.
And Suzuki in the corner, and Hume trying to do exactly that, but Suzuki doing a good job clinching, and Hume takes Suzuki down.
And the match ends with Suzuki getting the win off of that one lost point. I think really, Matt really progressed in a very short time in the time that he spent in Pancrase. And this match against Suzuki shows that he went from starting off on some of the undercard matches to being able to hang with the very best within Pancrase. And that's just really just a mistake on Hume's part with that rope escape. And you could see the look on his face was, I wasn't going for an escape, but damage was done, and we've seen more than one match lost by a fighter because of a similar situation.
And that was the last time we would see Matt Hume in Pancrase. Do you know why, Josh, this would be his last fight?
Well, actually, that had some more to do with some internal issues within the gym and within the manager scenario that was bringing Hume and Bjornathan and some of the AMC fighters to Pancrase. But Matt would go on to have an incredibly successful career as a fighter and also as a coach.
All right, in another first-round bout, we're going to see Jason Delucia versus Thomas Puckett. And so far in his short career, Jason Delucia making quite a splash.
Jason Delucia versus Thomas Puckett.
The leg guards there would be unable to kick or knee whereas Delucia, in the standard regalia of the Pancrase fighter, able to knee and kick and shote freely.
And this is just Puckett's second fight so far. 0-1, and right there, a right palm strike by Delucia, and Puckett goes down. He is dazed.
Yeah, he really caught one on the lip, on the mouth there, as Puckett. Puckett really a newcomer to the art of mixed martial arts.
Jason Delucia, not a guy you want to fight, and bang, right there, a right high kick by Delucia, and Puckett down once again. This might be it.
And Delucia really nailed him with that high kick, and Puckett not looking like he's going to make the bell.
And another first round bout, we'll see Manabu Yamada versus Christopher DeWeaver making his MMA debut. Tell us a little bit about DeWeaver.
I believe he comes from Australia, and that's about as much as I know about him. And he's going against quite the fighter and fireplug Yamada, known between both of us as Mr. Tough Guy.
And Yamada also a chiropractor, as you wisely pointed out in a previous episode.
Christopher DeWeaver versus Manabu Yamada.
Height and reach would have to go to DeWeaver, but experience all in the favor of the yellow-trunked Yamada.
Yamada 4-1 so far in his Pancrase career. As we see, he's trying to take DeWeaver down, and successfully so.
Body lock takedown from Yamada ends him up in DeWeaver's guard.
And both fighters in the center of the ring.
DeWeaver locking down on both of Yamada's arms. Stalemate between the two of them. See if Yamada can get his arms free and get some offense going here as he drops back to the leg of DeWeaver.
Very nice reversal by DeWeaver there, Josh.
Well, DeWeaver here is really reacting to Yamada going after his legs, managing to secure himself on top, but looking a little lost at defensive leg locks. Most of the fighters coming from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu backgrounds not being very familiar with the leg lock techniques of the catch wrestlers from Pancrase.
As we see, DeWeaver has Yamada in the mount.
DeWeaver working the arms of Yamada, perhaps looking for the cross arm scissor.
Also has the forearm towards Yamada's neck. And Yamada trying to roll him over, and he does, and now Yamada is on top.
Yamada posturing up, basing, hooking that leg, dropping back for the heel hook, and DeWeaver taps quickly.
And DeWeaver had his foot twisted in all sorts of directions, but Yamada, maybe he'll say, hey, you want me to help you out after the fight? I'm a pretty good chiropractor.
That's true. He could probably put him back together and get him back onto his illustrious tap dancing career.
We have to step away for just a second, but don't go away. Welcome back to the show. Now we have Dennis Kang joining us. Dennis, it's Rob Wu here along with Josh Barnett. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, guys. Glad to be here.
And Dennis, talk to us a little bit about your time in Pancrase.
It started off back in 2000. I was 22 years old. I was I consider myself a young jiu-jitsu fighter then. You know, I got invited by Pancrase to fight Minoru Suzuki over there. I believe it was September 2000. You know, I went over there and beat him, did real good, and fought there 2 more times, and then not with as much success as the first time, but enjoyed every time anyways.
Hey, so what was it like getting in the ring with Minoru Suzuki? As I'm sure you were very familiar with him. In fact,
of course. I mean, before I even started to train jiu-jitsu, I was watching Minoru Suzuki fight Frank Shamrock, you know, and all of a sudden I'm looking across the ring and there he is, and I'm about to fight him. I mean, it was a surreal experience to say the least. And then to go ahead and defeat such a legend, you know, was very, very, very good indeed.
How do you feel that your experience in Pancrase parlayed into some of your later fights?
Well, it gave me early international experience. You know, I mean, back then I only had, I think, 6 or 7 fights. So to go ahead and compete, you know, in an organization like Pancrase, all the way in Japan with the traveling and everything like that, it gave me a lot of experience, and I learned a lot. You know.
Well, it kind of makes me laugh when you talk about all the way back then, because you're just making me feel old here, Dennis. And I do know that you recently had a birthday. Am I correct?
I did. Yeah, I turned 23.
Oh, wow. That's...
Oh, sorry. I meant to say 30. 30 sorry.
But when Rob, unbeknownst to some people out there, back then, actually Dennis and I were fighting on a lot of the same cards, except the first time I ever happened to meet the Denis one, he lost by DQ.
Oh,
yeah,
what did you do?
right.
What'd you do, Dennis? Why'd you get DQ?
I upkicked this guy in the nose.
And that was an accident, right?
It was an accident.
And Dennis, I couldn't find a nickname for you, but if you could give yourself a nickname, what would it be?
The very smart, handsome, and strong guy. Too large.
Last question, Dennis. Tell us, let's go from the fighter to the person. Give us something about yourself that most fans don't know about you.
That's a tough one. I don't know. I like to watch the History Channel.
Hey, and Josh likes to watch the Cartoon Network, so you guys have a lot to talk about, obviously.
Yeah, sometimes I watch the Cartoon Network. Sometimes.
Usually by my influence.
All right, thank you very much for joining us, Dennis.
Hey, no problem, guys.
All right, thanks for your time. And now we're going to see Bas Rooten and Frank Juarez. Now, Josh, Frank Juarez making his debut, and he's got a tough assignment in Bas Rooten.
What a guy to draw right out the bat with Bas Rooten. Frank Juarez, as we would later know to be Frank Shamrock here, I think he's going to show a little bit of why he's going to be considered one of the best MMA fighters of all time.
Are you saying he wins this fight?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying you should keep an eye on it.
All right, you heard from the man himself. Let's watch the fight.
Frank Juarez versus Bas Rooten.
As we start this fight, Rooten on your right, Juarez, or Shamrock if you like to call him, on your left. And a nice strike by Rooten, but an even better takedown from Juarez.
What an explosive takedown by Frank there, lifting Rooten clean off the mat, slamming him down, and then taking him to the center of the ring. This does not look like a neophyte here. This looks like a seasoned veteran.
And he's doing it against Bas Rooten from Holland. Already has 8 career fights under his belt, 6-2.
Rooten using that brute strength to flip Frank over and get on top, get the half guard position, taking the far arm there as Rooten and locking up the head.
As we move ahead in the fight, a nice right kick by Rooten, and Shamrock once again taking Bas down. That's been his MO all fight, and he's been doing it pretty well.
Yes, Frank here has been really diligent at coming in with the shots, getting low and getting the legs from Bas Rooten and sucking him up out from underneath him as Bas has been trying to unload with the strikes, maybe extending himself a little too much and causing Bas to be less apt to defend the takedown.
Frank has Bas mounted. As you see, Bas Rooten definitely working. The R on his left hand has disappeared.
Double overhook on the arms by Rooten, probably looking to reverse position, and he is successful.
And looks like Rooten giving Shamrock no chance to get up, jumping right back on his back.
Looking for that choke is Rooten.
Shamrock, nice spin, and now he has Rooten down on his back on the mat.
These guys have continuously been changing positions for the length of this match. Not much time left, though.
As we move along, both fighters now back on their feet. Shamrock once again looking for the takedown, and a nice double leg takedown by Shamrock.
Rooten, possible front choke, but unable to hold on to Frank Shamrock's head as they are quite sweaty at this point in the match.
And Josh, how much harder is it to apply a submission hold when both fighters are sweating?
It's much harder, as with all that sweat, it makes it a lot more difficult to get a good fast hold onto your opponent. Everything is now slippery, and with them struggling as much as they are, things like that.
And now Rooten almost got the arm of Shamrock. Shamrock slips, and now Shamrock back in the full guard, and there's only 1 minute left in the fight. Which of these fighters really have to pick it up now so it doesn't go to the judge's decision?
I think the fact that there is no points on either side gained or lost, both of them are going to have to really do their best. And as Shamrock here is sitting back looking for the heel hook, attacking the leg of Rooten. Again, the heel hook attempt by Shamrock. Rooten defending well though.
As this fight is nearing its end, Shamrock has side control on Rooten.
Mount by Shamrock with 30 seconds left in the match. Attempting the arm lock.
And a very nice defense by Boss, now in the full guard.
Short left hand to the body by Boss. Boss looking to work the body some, maybe opting to strike.
And the bell rings. This fight is over, and it will go to the judges. And it looks like they are going to award this victory to
Frank Shamrock.
Alex Cook versus Wayne Shamrock.
Alex Cook, new to the sport, 0-1 so far is his record, just 21 years of age.
Tentative is Cook going against the bigger, more experienced Shamrock. Shamrock really taking his time.
And a nice left palm strike by Shamrock staggers Cook for a second.
Front kick by Shamrock. Cook trying diligently for the takedown. Shamrock having none of it.
And I think something happened to Cook's face as he's grabbing the right side of it.
Yeah, he may have received like a thumb or a finger in the eye by accident as he was coming in there.
And you can see just the physical size difference, Josh. Wayne Shamrock, just so much bigger.
Yeah, Ken there, or as Wayne as he is known at this point, just an incredibly powerful individual. And sitting here working over Cook as he is on top.
Cook much smaller, just 5'7". Now Shamrock in the half guard position.
And Cook would later on to go and fight actually at a welterweight, 167 pound, or actually 183 pound division later on in his career, whereas Shamrock here probably around 220 and drops back.
Cook in danger as Shamrock has the heel lock, and that is it. The kitchen is closed as Cook is done for the day in the first round, 131, and a devastating win by Shamrock. And Josh, they actually changed the rules. They made heel hooks illegal for some time because of the damage Wayne Shamrock was doing to the fighters.
Yeah, exactly. And I think not very happy with his food, he decided to send his order back.
And our next fight, Yusuke Fukay versus Maurice Smith. I'd like to get you to intro this fight, but if you have any other jokes, I'd be glad to hear it.
I'm fresh out for right now, but maybe we come back later. I do have a wedding to work this weekend, so.
All right, and when we come back, it's Yusuke Fukay versus Maurice Smith. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us. And now we're going to see Maurice Smith take on Yusuke Fukay. Now, Josh, Maurice Smith was a UFC Heavyweight Champ till Randy Couture beat him. And then someone we both know took that title from Couture.
I did, and funny enough, Randy Couture had been coming up and training in Seattle for various fights in between the one prior to the fight that we had for the UFC Heavyweight title, and actually training with Maurice Smith at that time. And when I competed against Randy Couture, Maurice Smith was in his corner.
All right, this is Maurice Smith's third fight. Let's see how he fares.
Yusuke Fukay versus Maurice Smith.
Fukay in red will probably look for the takedown as he gets that single leg of Smith trying to take him down.
Maurice using that size and strength advantage, clutching the neck of Fukay. but ending up on the mat even still. Maurice defending.
And Maurice Smith is a big man, Josh. How much harder does it make for you as a fighter to take someone down if he is just so much bigger than you?
Well, I can say that taking guys down like Semi Schilt and nice reversal
flip
by Maurice. Taking guys down like Sem Schilt, Jimmy Ambrose, and Dan McGee is quite the difficult endeavor. And when you got a guy 300 pounds, 6'10", which is someone sizable in comparison to me, that's a lot of weight to move around. And Fukay here is going to have to. Well, nice single leg trip up by Fukay, making it a little easier for him, but. He's expending a lot of energy trying to throw Maurice Smith around like that.
And Maurice Smith is a world-class kickboxer, so Fukay will want to keep this fight on the ground where he can neutralize those kicks.
Well, Fukay in good position now on top of Maurice, looking for the leg, but Maurice, a nice armbar transition by Fukay.
As the fighter's a little too close to the ropes, we can probably expect the refs to break them up once again. Right there.
And Smith able to get his arm free as well. But being in the ropes, as you said, forcing the restart.
Both fighters on their feet. Maurice Smith has to be happy about that right now.
Both fighters working patiently.
And Fukay once again coming in, and Smith throwing a knee strike to Fukay, and Fukay goes down, and he's breathing hard.
Well-timed knee strike by Smith right into the abdomen of Fukay.
And Yusuke Fukay, he's got 8 seconds, an 8 count to get up, and he will not get up, and Maurice Smith is your winner, a KO victory, 248. And Maurice Smith, for his third career fight, looking pretty good out there.
Great running knee by Maurice, just using all that size and power, taking Fukay right out of the match.
All right, and our next match is going to be Vernon Tiger White versus Leon Deek. And Josh, Vernon Tiger White, possibly still a cub, hasn't yet fully grown as a fighter.
Well, he's still working his way up the ladder and scratching and clawing as far as he can get. But here with Leon Deek, he's got a student of Boss Rooten's, but also another relative newcomer to the game of MMA.
A newcomer he is, Leon Deek, making his MMA debut. Let's take a look.
Leon Deek versus Vernon Tiger White.
White, a nice spinning leg kick, and Deek responds with a kick of his own.
Deek keeping the pressure on. Big shotes from Deek. Nice high kick.
And Deek has a background in Thai boxing. As you can see, the kick's very smooth and fluid.
Nice big spinning back roundhouse by Leon. Ends up in the takedown though by Vernon White.
As we see, Deek has White in the full guard.
White looking to create some space maybe and go after the legs here.
And Deek covering his head. And now White once again. Now White's submission moves not too impressive yet at this point in his career. But as we see here, possibly trying to work on the legs of Deek.
Vernon drops that leg across. Going after the heel hook is both men.
And both men giving it everything they got, and White just gave it a little more. He wins via the heel hook, and he is fired up. All right, moving on to our next bout. It's Masa Katsu Funaki versus Robert Bjornathan. And Bjornathan, he's from your neck of the woods, Josh.
He is. He was one of my teachers over at AMC. An incredibly tenacious individual with hellacious strikes, facing against a very tough and grizzled competitor in Funaki here. Funaki having all the experience, but Bjornathan didn't get the nickname the Pitbull for nothing. And with a name like Robert, I think he might give some incentive for you to cheer him on.
As long as his name's not Bob, I'm okay with it. And let's see if Bjornathan can come through versus Funaki.
Robert Bjornathan versus Masakatsu Funaki.
Fire, fire.
And he is coming in on Funaki, and early on, it doesn't look like he's intimidated at all.
No, Bjornathan is not the kind of guy to back down regardless of the situation. He knows that Funaki is the top guy in Pancrase.
Move to the side.
And right now, Funaki has Bjornathan mounted, trying to move him to the center of the ring.
Funaki here, settling in the mount, trying to get that lock around his waist broken. Attacking the neck is Funaki, looking for that choke, that judo choke, jamming that top hand under the chin of Bjornathan. Is now setting up for the arm lock is Funaki.
And a very dangerous position for Bjornathan to be in.
Todd's got to know what's coming. Let's just see if he can get that arm free and defend before Funaki can finish.
And Bjornathan has to keep his hands together, and he is unable to do so. Loses via the armbar. Masakatsu Funaki, a very impressive win, 220 in the first round. Robert Bjornathan loses the fight, but nothing to be ashamed of. Masakatsu Funaki, one of the best.
Yeah, and in fact, Bjornathan would go on to fight another Pancrase stablemate, Akihiro Gono, later on, and win by armbar in an incredible match, which saw Bjornathan come back from a knockdown, dazed, a complete second round in an entire fog, and deprive Gono of his arm in that third round.
And Masakatsu Funaki, also a co-founder of Pancrase. Okay, we have to take a quick commercial break, but don't go away. When we come back, the other co-founder of Pancrase, Minoru Suzuki, is in next. Welcome back to the show. Now we're going to watch Minoru Suzuki take on Jason Delucia. And Josh, it'd be an understatement to say that Jason Delucia is one of the unique characters in Pancrase.
Right, a very unique fighting style coming from Delucia, deriving a background in 5 animal styles Kung Fu, making a great transition and able to incorporate a lot of those techniques that are slightly unusual and unorthodox to the average MMA fighter, and making it work very successfully for him.
And tell us how you think he'll match up with his opponent, Minoru Suzuki.
Well, I think he's actually got a bit of an advantage with those unorthodox techniques, and might be able to make them a very successful opportunity to catch Minoru Suzuki off guard. But Suzuki, master on the ground.
All right, let's see who wins.
Jason Delucia versus Minoru Suzuki.
Both fighters in the southpaw stance as they start this match.
Delucia on your left, now on top of your screen. Mitch Suzuki on the bottom.
The USA etched into the knee pads of Delucia as he throws some inside low kicks. Suzuki dancing.
And if Delucia, you want to keep this fight, you want to stand on your feet.
I think so. Delucia really should try to keep this fight on the feet as much as possible. As Suzuki there lands some low kicks to Delucia. Delucia responds in kind, and so does Suzuki.
Both fighters trading kicks early on, and Jason Delucia has some of the better kicks in the business.
Nice snapping high kick from Delucia, but Minoru Suzuki managing to avoid it. Another high kick from Delucia, front kick.
Coming in on Suzuki, and Suzuki wisely takes Delucia down. Now Delucia on the ground where he can't use those kicks.
Delucia locking up a front choke, hoping to put this match away early against Suzuki. But he's going to have to try very hard to catch a veteran like Suzuki.
And if you're Suzuki in this position, what do you do to escape?
You relax, you push his face away just like that, and away you go. Neck crank attempt by Suzuki to open up Delucia's guard. Reaching back for the leg was Suzuki as Delucia scrambles, tries to reverse the mount from Suzuki. And Suzuki here looking to establish position, while Delucia, bridging and rolling Suzuki over, is successful in exchanging positions with him.
A nice job by Delucia as he now moves Suzuki towards the center of the ring, as Suzuki going for the arm of Delucia.
Suzuki now working off of his back, and Delucia staying tight inside his guard, elbows in, trying to protect those arms from any possible joint locks on the arm by Suzuki. Suzuki trying to adjust and maybe attack from the armbar off his back as Delucia works to pass. Delucia drop back for the heel hook, only to get heel hooked by Suzuki in return.
And Minoru Suzuki wins via the heel hook, 2:04 into the first round. And Josh, we saw right there the brilliance of Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, it was actually a very good entry by Delucia to go after that leg. Even if a little bit of an obvious setup to a man like Suzuki, but Suzuki escapes a dangerous heel hook attack by Delucia, catches his own leg as he knows Delucia's leg is going to be free, and ends that match quickly with 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
All right, and in the next fight, it's Frank Juarez against Manabu Yamada. How do you see this fight playing out, Josh?
Well, I see that Juarez, as he is known before becoming Frank Shamrock,
same person,
is quite the athlete, and I think the speed and size advantage is going to be in Frank's favor. He ought to keep this fight very mobile and keep the offense up on Yamada and never let him get a chance to recover.
All right, and let's see who comes out on top.
Frank Juarez versus Manabu Yamada.
And Frank still new to Pancrase, just his second fight. Yamada 5-1 thus far.
And Frank earlier on in this tournament defeating who would become such a near unbeatable champion in Boss Rooten. Moving on to the second round of the tournament against Yamada here as he works off of his back with Yamada caught in a front headlock.
And of course, stamina comes into play, Josh. This isn't their first fight of the day. They fought multiple times.
No, and in fact, Frank went the full time limit against Boss, whereas Yamada won quickly in 2 minutes and 44 seconds against the Weaver.
And Yamada going for the ankle of Shamrock.
Good leg catch position by Yamada, staying tight to that leg, whereas Shamrock here, sitting his hip down, looking to separate the legs of Yamada and clear his leg out of there. Maybe attack for his own leg lock. Yamada staying in, keeping the leg secured.
And he's hanging on to that foot of Shamrock, possibly working on the heel of the ankle.
Going for the toe hold is Yamada, and Shamrock wisely taking the rope escape, knowing that Yamada had him dead to rights. That toe hold.
And that escape cost Shamrock 1 point. He has 3 points in this fight, so he has 2 remaining.
Shamrock needing to pick it up here now.
As both fighters restart in the center of the ring, Yamada taking the early lead.
Yamada with a couple of looping slaps gets the headlock takedown on Frank. Frank working to come out the back door and maybe take Yamada's back. Nice bridge by Frank Shamrock, landing him on top.
Shamrock still has Yamada rear mounted.
Looking for that choke is Shamrock. Hoping to roll Yamada over. Yamada being patient. But in a very precarious position is Yamada.
And Yamada in a little bit of danger here, Josh.
Yeah, Shamrock there has his chin turned to go for that face lock or perhaps try to sink in that choke. Yamada not actively defending the arms.
How does Yamada escape this?
Yamada's got to stay on those hands and protect his neck first.
And a good job by Yamada as he is out of that choke.
Attempt at an armbar by Shamrock, blocked by Yamada as Yamada slides through and takes the side control against Frank here.
The crowd appreciating the action. In the side control was Yamada, and now, once again, Shamrock on the bottom. Yamada has a little chokehold on.
Control position by Yamada, looking for his own armbar now.
And good defenses by Shamrock, not allowing him to take the arm just yet, but Yamada's still attempting to do so.
Danger is Shamrock there of getting caught in that arm lock. Shamrock is probably going to look to jump over to the other side, trying to clear that hand free.
Yamada's still working, and he does clear that hand free, does Shamrock, and now he has side control.
Frank needing to work. Got to get that rope escape or the submission here. There's not a lot of time left for him to win this bout.
And Frank already trailing on points, 1-0.
Stepping over into the leg. Looks like Yamada's allowing Frank to go after his leg, maybe to get another opportunity at a heel hook.
And of course, Yamada, a great escape artist, so probably not too worried just yet.
Yamada very patient down there. Frank still has yet to make his move.
As we see Frank now in the full guard.
Frank looking to pop open the guard of Yamada, maybe to get an opportunity to attack that leg again. He's got 2 minutes left in this bout to make something happen.
And if you're Frank Shamrock, Josh, you have to start picking it up.
Just like that, he drops back to the leg again, looking for that heel hook is Shamrock. Yamada also going for the heel hook.
And it looks like Yamada might be the one with the heel hook. Shamrock also giving it everything he's got. Both fighters turning each other around.
Counter after counter by fighter, each trying to get their own heel hook, and Yamada is the one to pull it off.
Yamada gets the best of Frank Shamrock, gets him to tap out 8:38 in the first round, and Manabu Yamada has a reputation of being a great escape artist, and that's exactly what he did. Frank just couldn't get that submission move on. Yamada wins.
Yamada very tough, and I actually happen to suspect that Yamada very flexible with his ankles and legs. A lot of the Japanese fighters are very resistant to pain and the ankles and the leg area, as they spend tons and tons of training attacking each other's legs and constantly stretching and conditioning the tendons and the feet down there. So some of those ankle submissions a little more difficult to pull off on the Japanese opponents, and in that battle of leg locks, Yamada came out on top, although Frank Shamrock, quite the performance, I'd say.
All right, we have to take a quick break, but don't go away. When we come back, it's Maurice Smith and Wayne Shamrock. Welcome back. Now we're going to see Frank Shamrock take on Maurice Smith. And Josh, on paper, Wayne Shamrock has the advantages. He's had 16 career matches. Maurice Smith, still very inexperienced, just 3 bouts in his career.
Yeah, the other Shamrock, Ken here, or Wayne as he was called within the Pancrase days, coming in with a distinct experience advantage in the grappling and all-around game here. But Maurice Smith, a devastating kickboxer, and you never know, any one strike could possibly end this match.
All right, and let's see if Shamrock's experience helps him out.
Wayne Shamrock versus Maurice Smith.
Shamrock and Smith squaring off in the center of the ring. Shamrock looking for his opening to take Smith to the mat. Smith looking for a chance to end this fight with a nice KO shot.
And Shamrock shoots in, not yet taking down Smith. And Josh, that's a lot of man to be taking down. Maurice Smith stands at 6'2".
He's a big guy, Maurice, but Shamrock has the body position here and the wrestling background, and succeeds with a tight waist takedown, getting Maurice down. Maurice trying to struggle back to his feet, but unsuccessful against the shoot fighter, Ken Shamrock.
And Ken, or Wayne Shamrock, 12-4 at this point in his career. Maurice Smith, as we said, 3 career bouts, 2-1.
Ken here, controlling Maurice from behind with what we like to call the lasso. One arm around the neck, one arm around under the arm. Locking Maurice down is Ken.
And Maurice Smith's ground game. Talk a little bit about that, Josh.
Well, really not much of a ground game at this point, but Maurice would become a student of the game and become a fairly decent grappler in his own right.
And as you saw, Smith went for the rope, so he is deducted a point. He has 2 remaining.
Big palm strike by Shamrock, landing against the kickboxer Maurice Smith. Smith now hands up. Another big palm strike from Shamrock.
Smith coming in on Shamrock.
Smith having a little difficulty with the rhythm and distance of the MMA match, having to contend with takedowns. As nice sprawl by Maurice, but Shamrock coming back on top, getting the front headlock and coming around the back, pulling Maurice down.
And now wisely trying to move Smith to the center of the ring where he can't grab the rope for an escape.
Underhooking that leg is Shamrock, now with an overhook, looking to drop into an Achilles lock.
In a bit of a dangerous position for Smith here. Shamrock, one of the best at taking people's ankles out.
Locking up that leg is Shamrock.
And Maurice Smith does go for the ropes, and he has deducted another point. He's lost 2. He's only got 1 more remaining. No more rope escapes for Smith.
Ken had him in a nasty heel hook, so probably the wise maneuver on Smith's part. But back on the feet, Smith has a chance to end this fight if he can get the opportunity to land the perfect shot.
Shamrock trying to prevent that. We'll likely probably see him try to take this fight to the ground again.
Jab by Maurice. Middle kick met with a right hand by Shamrock. Shamrock catches the kick, takes Maurice down.
And once again, Shamrock has Smith right where he wants him, Josh. He cannot throw any KO kicks in that position.
You're right, Rob. And here, Maurice's strengths are largely neutralized by the wrestling of Ken Shamrock. Looking to get the side choke, and does.
And he lets it go as the referee breaks them up. No, actually, Maurice Smith taps out due to that side choke. And next we're going to see Vernon White. Now, he won his first round match, and his reward? Facing Masa Katsu Funaki. I'm not really sure that is a reward.
It isn't necessarily a reward, but if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, Vernon Tiger White, you're going to have to step up against Masakatsu Funaki.
All right, we'll see if White can take Funaki out.
Masakatsu Funaki versus Vernon Tiger White.
Vernon White in the black, Funaki in green.
Advancing in the tournament is White after a nice win over Dutch kickboxer and Boss Rooten student Leon Deek. And Funaki here coming in with a win over my former teammate at AMC, Todd Bjornathan.
And White looks like it's going nice double leg takedown by White.
Nice reversal by Funaki, showing the experience.
And Funaki on a roll so far coming into this match. He's won 10 of his last 11 fights. And Vernon White trying to slip out, not successful yet. And now Funaki going for the armbar of White. White's in a little bit of trouble here, Josh.
Yeah, White's in a bad spot. Funaki nicely executed armbar, but White able to slide his way out and showing why he was given the nickname, along with Tiger, the Worm. Able to squirm his way thither and fro and get his way out of all kinds of fight-ending positions.
Worm and Tiger, quite the contrast.
Quite the contrast. Funaki here working off of his back. Vernon here looking to split the legs, and Funaki again uses those elevators inside the thigh to flip Vernon over, and moving them to the center of the ring is Funaki.
And White right now in a very vulnerable position, Josh.
And I think Funaki here sensing his opportunity, setting Vernon up for either the triangle or the armbar.
And he does appear to be going for that arm of White.
A leg over the head, threatening triangle. Spinning around the head is Funaki, going back to the mount and catching the arm on the way is Funaki against Vernon White. Vernon White, though, rolling back inside the guard against Funaki, and now again establishing top control.
A very different Vernon White. In his first career Pancrase fight, he couldn't do any of this.
No, in his first career Pancrase fight, he was clearly a fish out of water, but like said before, Vernon here making strides in the Pancrase organization through all that time spent on the mat in the Pancrase dojo in the Lion's Den with Ken Shamrock.
White right now in the full guard.
Funaki working patiently off his back. Covering the mouth of Vernon Tiger White is Funaki, looking to disrupt the breathing patterns of White. Maybe he hears White breathing hard as White drops back for the leg, but Funaki sees it coming, rides it out all the way to mount position.
And White on the bottom, not the position he wants to be in. How does he get out?
He's just going to have to watch his arms and try to bridge, create space, or get Funaki's hips up, slide his knees through, and maybe put Funaki in the full guard.
Funaki continuing to work on the arms of White.
Funaki trying to isolate that left arm of White. Looking for the straight arm lock is Funaki.
Funaki got that arm lock, 5:37 in the first round. And Josh, from what I saw, Vernon White actually pretty much held up his own until the very end.
A great performance out of Vernon Tiger White in one of his early matches against one of the aces of the company in Funaki. Funaki there showing a great transition, going from the double wrist lock to the straight arm lock from the mount position against White. White was able to defend one, but after the transition to the straight arm lock, he was too late.
No shame to losing Funaki, and by fighting these superior fighters, Vernon White learning very quickly here in Pancrase. All right, those are all the fights we have for today, but before we go, let's check out today's event highlight. And that highlight comes from the Jason Delucia-Thomas Puckett match, where Delucia right here, bang, a high kick to the side of Puckett's face, knocks him out, Delucia with the KO victory.
Nice snapping round kick from Delucia, taken from his experience previously in the 5 Animal Styles Kung Fu.
Now, that was the first half of the Pancrase King tournament, and we will pick it up right where we left off next week. All right, thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Rob Wu.
Josh Barnett.
See you later.
Yeah.